Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I have another video for you. I want to talk about something that my own personal struggle with you and what I'm loving about this channel again is that how real it is. Um, I don't know if you've ever watched this movie. It's called Encanto, and there is a part where the girl who is so perfect, so put together, she realizes that that's not who she really is. That's not her true self. And she's been so in a mode of performance that she didn't realize that she had creativity inside of her, but it was coming from the real her and not from a performance level of what people expected her to be or how to look like or how to pose or how to all her emotions were intact because she was told that way, she was raised that way, and she was trying to gain her grandmother's approval. And I love that movie. And it's a cartoon, and if you follow me, you've been watching my videos, you know that there's a video where I talk about how the father speaks to me, and he loves to use cartoons. He loves to use even rock music. I know it's crazy. I don't even listen to rock music, but my I'll come across this video and then it'll just, he'll speak to me through it. For instance, there is a video called Godsmack. You wouldn't even think about it, but it's called Standing Alone, and I can totally relate to this this song in my life right now because I feel like I'm standing alone, and but I'm still doing it. But anyways, the father can use anything. Like I said in that video, go check it out. Great video. It encourages me every time that I hear it because I know that um, this is the calling of my life, and this is a message to let everybody know that it's time to get that fakeness off of you and to be real with you, and that it's okay, and it's okay to be you, and you don't have to feel shamed about it. And um, people are not going to understand why I make these videos. They don't understand the backdrop of it, and they just think that I'm just basically just throwing myself out there and trying to get attention. And like I said, this is not for the viewer. These messages are not for viewers that are not going to understand. These are messages for people that are going through the same thing that I'm going through, and they're afraid to actually talk about it. There's such great courage when you stumble upon a video and you start hearing things that you can relate to, and it's like, oh man, I'm not alone in this. I really am not alone. I think there's a verse that says cast your care, or what is it? I think it's cast your care upon one another, um, because it brings healing or something like that. Oh, I can't think of the verse right now, but that's the verse that comes to my mind. But if we don't know, if we can't relate to people, or if we don't hear people going through some struggles, Christians bringing real stuff out there, how will we ever feel safe? How will we ever feel like we're not alone? You know, how will we know that what we're feeling is not shameful, or that our Father is not with us in those times? Shoot, he's with us all the time, but it seems like when you're going through that fire, through that pain, you don't feel him around you. You don't have that sense of his love. And that's what this message is all about. I'm going to talk about a real life struggle that I'm facing right now, my own Goliath, as they say. And I want to talk to you what the Father reminded me this morning. I'm going to read to you. I actually I got to boast about this because it's just, oh, I love this. I love how Father just gives me ideas for my viewers, and he gives me ideas for me. Whatever he gives to me, it's to give to my viewers. Um, but I recently bought a camera. I don't really, I'm not a photographer, kind of thing, but I want to start seeing what Stacy is capable of, what Stacy maybe has inside of her. And so I bought a camera, and it's for vlogging, it's for video, and maybe it'll give me better lighting. I want to see what I'm capable of, um, finding me all over again, finding the real me, not what other people have spoken over my life or what people expect me to be, but finding the little girl of being happy and seeing what Father has put inside of me. And I pray this is, I pray that this encourages you, um, to, there's so much creativity in you. And I pray that I inspire you to go and get a canvas and some paint, or take walks outside, or go to the patio and enjoy those love moments with your Father just loving over you, or getting a bike, or getting some rollerblades, or going to the beach. I pray that it inspires you, or make a YouTube channel and talk about anything. I pray that this inspires you to be you, child of God, that you are dearly loved by your Father, and He has put beauty inside of you. And when you hear about His love, it just makes you explode and giddy, and you just come out and you start blooming, because all you needed was that special ingredient, that main special ingredient, and that was a love of a Father just cheering you on, that He's right there with you. You're not alone, and there's so much beauty inside of you. So I pray that this ministers to you and inspires you as you hear a real life struggle and how I deal with it. Um, so, as you know, I've gone through a divorce, and it is, if you've ever experienced a divorce, it's not, it's a hard thing, and especially when you still love that person very much. And I'm sorry, friends, if I cry, it's what it is. Maybe people need to see the tears, right? But the divorce was definitely not my idea, because my mom, she had a really hard time with my dad, very very hard time, very hard life with my dad. You know, he cheated on her all the time. I love my father. Don't get me wrong. I've already forgiven my father, but I'm using this because my dad went through stuff as well, and that's why he treated my mom the way he did. And it just all goes back to Adam again. So there's really no blaming fingers here. But the fact of the matter is that he cheated on my mom, and numerous of times. So I grew up with the environment of, I can't trust a man. And um, he made it seem like, get over it. With my mom, she had all these emotions going through her, and she had all this pain that was building up, and this anger that was building up, because she couldn't express herself because of what was going to come out of that, either a threatening word. So she couldn't express herself. So as a child, seeing my mom go through all this pain, and seeing my sisters were fighting for our life to survive, um, I brought this into my marriage a lot, and it caused a lot of pain between Blake and I. And it was just 20 years of our marriage, two broken people coming together and trying to make a life. And You don't realize how the effects of it. So with that said, the sense of someone loving you, the sense of a father loving you where you're at, allowing you to express yourself, allowing your father to love you at your worst and telling you it's okay to cry, it's okay to you know feel the way that you're feeling, angry, it's okay. I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you at all because you're expressing yourself to me. I want you to feel free to express yourself to me. I never experienced that at all. I experienced hold it together. Hold those emotions together. It's not right. Or else. And that's the one thing that I can't stand about teaching that I'm hearing is God doesn't like you to get your emotions together, basically. Like he wants you to, you shouldn't be feeling this. You shouldn't be feeling, anger, because he's the God of love. And we forget that we're not robots, we're humans. And I've heard even teaching saying, don't go by your emotions. And that is true to a certain extent. And I'm here to kind of tie in how the Father gave me this beautiful, he revealed this to my heart and he wanted me to share this online with you to show you that what you're feeling is real. He doesn't want you to deny that it's not there. That's the biggest thing right there. The biggest thing, the key that I think a lot of teaching is missing is that he never asked us to deny what we're feeling. If you're feeling hatred, if you're feeling jealousy, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling like giving up on life, if you're feeling dirty, if you're feeling ashamed, he never asked you to deny it. Never asked you to deny it. And I love how my Father just allows me just to be me and to express myself, even if it's the same emotion that comes up again and I have to go through it. And he reminds me of his love. So now that you kind of understand maybe just a smidgen, just a little bit of my background, I want to talk to you about something that there are going to be people that can understand and people that are not going to understand. But I'm talking to the viewer that can maybe relate. And a person who understands my heart when I'm saying this. Because I did not leave my husband because I didn't love him. I chose to stay in my marriage, but my husband decided to actually divorce me, and he's the one who actually put in for the divorce. And it was heartbreaking. It was so heartbreaking because of everything that my mom went through. She didn't leave my dad. So I saw a woman that no matter whether it was bad or abusive, because she did go through physical abuse, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. She never left my dad. So I don't know what it means to give up. And maybe that's a good thing in a way. Despite the pain, the horror, she never gave up. And I love my mom for that. So I never gave up in my marriage, no matter how much it was bad, no matter how many fights or what he called me or what I called him. I never gave up. So when I received the paperwork for the divorce, it was shocking because I felt like somebody was giving up on me. And a lot of anger rose in me because I couldn't understand, why are you leaving me when, after so many years? I felt betrayed, rejected, ashamed what people were going to say about me. And I felt all of my fears were about to come. We're gonna come out. And one of my fears has always been to be left alone. And as a child, because my father left us all the time, I never had somebody who was there. Nobody, I didn't have anybody there loving me, you know, pulling me up into his arms and say, "You're daddy's little girl." And um, it was hard. So when I noticed that Blake, he filed for divorce, I felt that feeling all over again of being alone. And my friends, can I tell you that it's the most hardest thing ever? Because you think of your children, you think of you think of, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? And I'm not saying that it was all Blake. I definitely didn't help the matter either. Um, it is what it is. It happened. I don't blame Blake for, at first I did, you know, but now thinking back, it was almost, in a weird sense, like a blessing in disguise, because it got me face to face with a lot of my weaknesses, a lot of the areas that father is, my beautiful father, that he's revealing that it was okay to feel all of this. It's almost like him saying, I want you to sense, I want you to see that it's okay for you to feel all these emotions. But I want you to bring my love in all of this. But you can't bring in my love in all of these areas, all these weaknesses of yours, if you think that I'm making you feel bad for even having them. And I've had to learn that, because I'm not learning that through the teaching that I'm hearing. If anything, the teaching that I'm hearing is making me feel ashamed because I'm going through this all over again. And I'm so tired of hearing that I wanted to bring and raise up a new breed of Christians in a way of, your father is loving you where you're at. But receive his love and see the power of his love work through that situation, through that weakness. And this video, I didn't know how I was going to tie it in. And all I do is I literally just pray, Father, just speak through me and heal me as people are being healed through the video. So I don't know how long this is going to be, and I'm just going to have to be okay with that too, you know. But hey, I figure if we can, for me, when I went to go see the movie Titanic, I stayed in that freaking theater for like 4 hours. I think it was a freaking long movie, but it just captured my attention, so I was okay with it. So I pray that this captures your attention and that you don't even look at the time. And if you need to put me on pause or just come back to it later because it's so good, go ahead. That's okay. But I really just don't want to even care anymore about how much time being put into these messages because they are just so, it's a breath of fresh air for me, knowing that I may be helping somebody on the other side of the camera. So, anyways, um, so today, or when all this went down with Blake and I, it was really hard. Like I said, um, I actually, this is how crazy things have been in my life, that I'm actually in the apartment that we first met. Like, all the apartments, when I went out and I started looking for an apartment, all the apartments that were they were all the apartments that I wanted to be in, they weren't available. And the only apartment that was available was on the other side of town. And it was in a place where you would kind of leave it for the last resort. It's a place where you start out, college kids, military kids are here, and they just, they're just starting life. Well, I met Blake here, and I'm so glad that this apartment was available because I love my apartment. I love it. It has a patio, and it's just, I made it like home to me. It was my place of refuge, and I was starting over again. And it was I made it my little sanctuary, if anything. And but the hardest part about this apartment is that it's the same layout of when I first met Blake. And I came into the room. I remember I wrote in my journal. It was January 18th, so I moved in, I think, January 17th. Um, yeah, it was January 17th of this year, 23. And I remember coming in, I'm like, oh my God, this is the same layout of Blake's apartment of when I met him. Um, and I cried that first day. And then the second day, I cried again because in every room, in the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, the closet, I remembered me walking in and out of rooms with him. And it was so hard. It was so hard, friends. So hard. All the memories were coming all at once. And I felt daggers just, coming through my heart. It was just, I felt so ashamed because I was feeling all of this. And I felt like, oh my God, so many people are going to find out about my situation, and my little perfect life is going to just come crumbling down. And what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And I had so much of all of the voices in my head of what people were going to say when they found out that he left me and I was all alone. And I was 41 and I was all alone. And it was the hardest. It was the hardest. But I had no choice but to go through it. I'm actually preparing a message right now. I guess you could say it's in the works of go through it, not around it. And I might bring up this story again, but I don't know how it's going to go. But anyways, my point is the fact that I couldn't just check out. I had nowhere else to go. This was a new beginning for me, the start of my healing. And I'm so glad that it ended up in this apartment complex. As much as it hurt like hell, and me thinking at the time that this is hell, it was actually going to be a place of beauty. I have met beautiful people here. My gosh. Oh my gosh, beautiful people here, people that don't have it all together, people that are really struggling. And I love, God, I love to be around that because there's no fakeness in it. What you see is what you get. They're not trying to tell me, all these Christian words and, they're just being real. And I admire that so much about them. And there was one night that I came from Blake's house, and um, I met my neighbor, and we just started talking, and she's telling me about certain things, and I remember, like, oh my God, I could so relate to you. I know exactly what you're going through, and I'm just hearing her out, and I'm thinking, God, she is so beautiful because she's expressing herself and no one is judging her. And she felt so free to say everything she needed to say. And it was just like two daughters of God. Come to find out, she was a Christian, but I felt the shame of, she felt shameful for what had happened in her life, and how it led up to what she was experiencing. And I just thought, my God, she's a beautiful mess. I'm a beautiful mess. And my Father loves me because he sees an opportunity through my mess to be a message for me and to you of how great his love truly is towards us. So if you're a mess, my friends, you are going to become a message. You are a message. You are a daughter who has a message of his love. Oh, I just love talking to her. I loved talking to her, just hearing her out. And at the very end, I tell her, what I'm going through, and I tell her that Father has not left her. And it was like speaking to my own heart. He hasn't left me. And I remember praying with her, and I could sense the Father's love around two daughters. And it was amazing because she felt that warmth also. And the very next day, things in her life just started to drop off. Things that she was struggling with started to drop off, like dirty layers off of a beautiful rose just started to drop off. So healing was taking place. And we talk about miracles and stuff like that you can see. But the real miracle is the inside of how you see yourself and how it begins to transform your life. You see, the things that were dropping off were things that she could see, but the real miracle happened that night that we prayed together, and that she was able to be free to tell me what she was going through. Mind you, she was herself in clothing and whatever she was doing at the time. I don't know if she's ever going to hear this message, but I want her to know that she was loved and accepted in every form and fashion. I didn't care. I didn't care what the atmosphere looked like. I wanted her to know that I was there for her. And then if I was there for her, her Father was there for her. So I remember getting into the climbing the steps of my apartment. I have a loft. I love it. It's so cute. Anyways, and I remember I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my God, Father, I know why all of this has been, um, you know, why I'm here. You, you literally led me to this apartment. You led me to this apartment because this is my tribe, my place with people that are needing a savior, a deliverer, a best friend, and most of all, Father. And I thought, oh man, Father, my life really is in front of you. And all of my details are on the palm of your hand. And you really are coordinating all of my steps. All of my steps. You're removing people, voices out of my life so I could see only you and your voice over my life. And I felt so loved because I knew that I was in the right place, the right time. And I thought, this is why I express myself so much in my videos, because of people, beautiful daughters like her. And then I started meeting other people that had gone through a divorce, and other people that their life wasn't so good and they were just trying to make it every single day. And then I find out across from me there's a girl who lost her husband, because he was put in prison, and how they have children. All these different situations. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is just getting better and better, and this sweeter and sweeter. And it feels so good to be with people that need a father, to remind them you're not alone and that you're dearly loved right where you're at. And if you never change, my love and my presence will never leave you. I felt so honored. So honored. And I know that when I leave here, when it's time for me to leave here, I'm going to cry because of the relationships that has been building. But I know that I'm going to see them again. I know that Father's going to lead them to the church building that I know that my Father is going to give to me. And right now, if anything, these videos are building my tribe. They're removing the people, my critics, the people that are judging the videos, but they're bringing in the people that need to be loved where they're at. And that is such a beautiful picture of Jesus, because when he spoke such words that his critics, the religious people that were trying to gain, they had such a view of themselves that they did nothing wrong, they said nothing wrong, they did everything right. It drew them away. And the Bible says that the sinners drew in, they came in, they followed him. It's like every word they were holding on to, because it was so rich of his acceptance and his forgiveness towards them. So I realized that my messages are not for everybody. My messages are for those wanting to be loved, wanting to be accepted, and need to hear that the Father's not making you feel guilty where you're at. He's not making you feel ashamed. He wants you to feel his love. He wants you to bring a sense of his love into your room, wherever you're at. And that is so, that is so important for me to bring that to you. because my ex-husband started listening to other people's voices and even the voices of the enemy. It's like I said, it's not so much people, it's more of a spirit that just cannot stand. I can't stand me. And I honestly, I believe it's a spirit of religion. Just call it out. It's just something completely against me and what I am building, that he started to listen to it. And to this day, he has misunderstood me in so many ways. So many ways. And in so many ways, I have misunderstood him as well. But at the same time, he's expressed to me, and I've expressed to him, that even though we can't live together, there's still love there, a lot of love there. And that has been the hardest thing to live and to go through, is that we didn't divorce each other, or he didn't divorce me because he didn't love me. He divorced me because he couldn't live with me. And that's a very big difference. Very big difference. And when I got the apartment, I started realizing the reason why all this was happening was because I wasn't okay with where I was at. I was so trapped in people's voices and opinions over my life that I never felt free to be me. I never knew the creativity. I always was behind my husband's ministry. He was the worship leader, and I felt like I was a nobody. I didn't know that I had purpose. I didn't know that there was something beautiful inside of Stacy. So, anyways, the journal entry that I want to read to you is very genuine, but I want to bring that across. And I know it's personal. I know that this, because it's a live video, it's going to go across to whoever, and it's going to be shared. People are going to laugh at it. People are going to misjudge it. And people are probably going to maybe even tell Blake that I was talking about him again. I don't know. But at this point, again, I'm tired of I'm tired of entertaining thoughts of what people are going to say about me. Because again, if my father is for me, in your words, you critic, your words don't matter. They don't matter. You know, I will stand before my father and not you. So, I want to read this. It's January 18th. So I moved in, like I said, January 17th, and January 18th is when I wrote this. I think I made an entry on the 17th. Yeah, I did. But this one specifically I want to read because it's going to tie into the message. So I said today was kind of hard again. Everything reminds me of him. I cried many times today. But what got me through is I turned on a sermon about Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And the man said in the video that Jesus saved us from our sin. My first thought was, why did you come for me? What value did I have that you left your beautiful kingdom for me? I could see his love for me, and it answered my question of how I was going to remove this pain from me of missing him so much. His love captured me, and I was not alone. I didn't feel alone. I was a daughter well thought of. and cared for. I sent a message about Braden. Braden is my youngest son, to see how he was, and he never responded to me. But I didn't feel the sting of rejection. It's been amazing to see his love remove that from me today. I was wondering, how can I go 6 months with this longing for the man that I love? I could not enjoy the journey because I didn't know how his love holds me close and removes the loneliness that I'm not alone. Well, I'm here still standing after 7, 8 months has gone by. And because I continued seeing my Father love me where I'm at, I'm still standing. And the enemy has lost in trying to make me feel unworthy. And that's why I love my friend's business, her company called Love So Divine. You got to go check it out. It's amazing. But she has this shirt that says worthy of his love. And then she has another one that says forever in his arms. And when I wear those, it captures my heart, because it reminds me I'm in his arms, whether my emotions are intact or they're not, or whether I miss it or I don't miss it. I'm always constantly in his arms. I'm constantly worthy of his love because of what Jesus did for me. I'm not worthy of his love because Stacy did it right, because of my own righteousness. Thank God it's Jesus' righteousness that I'm constantly in his arms, that I'm constantly being under a waterfall of his love and forgiveness. So yeah, friends, I definitely encourage you to go and check out the company, because those shirts are statements to you. It's not so much to everybody else. It could be a message to them, but it's a message to you. So I wear it with pride, and I don't even care how much it costs me, because I wear it with pride. It reminds my conscience to calm down, to say, you're loved. Whether people understand it or not, you're loved. And what I love about it, and what I love when I was talking to my friend downstairs, was I brought back the sense of his love. And that's what my message is all about. Bring back the sense of his love. And that's how you go through that valley of the shadow of death, I guess. It's a shadow of death. It's not death itself. It's a shadow. And a shadow can't harm you. It can only taunt you. It talks to your mind. See, the real battlefield, it's not with people. The real battlefield actually is in your mind. Because when I was in in the apartment, all the voices started coming in of everything that I was doing wrong, all of my failings, all the stuff that I did to Blake, and all of the stuff that he did to me. All of it was just caving in my mind of everything I was doing wrong. And I was losing the sense of my Father's love despite all of that. Despite all of that. Who's to say that a lot of a lot of the things that we go through that happen is because somebody in that relationship or someone forgot how much they're loved. The Father's love is not just a subject, it's who He is. We are the object of His love. I told my son not to be all disgusting to him, like, oh my God, Mom, please stop talking to me about you and Dad. Like, I'm going to need therapy. But I told him, I said, Jason, you and your brother are the object of my love and your dad's love together. We were so in love and we created you. And I thought of my father right there. I thought of my beautiful daddy. His very essence is love. And He created me. He created you because He was so in love. So you are not a mistake. He created you not to have you serve Him. He created you because He was simply in love. And we serve Him because He serves us so much. And I don't even call it serving. I call it so overwhelmingly wanting to love on Him. Because I feel so loved that He could love me every single day with what I'm going through. And even when everything is going right in my life, I'm always going to remember, bring back the sense of His love, Stacy. Do you know how much you're loved today? Do you know that everything that you have, this ministry, this church, the blessings in your life were not because you could do it, but because you couldn't do it. And He was delighted to give it to you. Oh, He's so beautiful and so in love with you. So in love with you. When we think that we have something to offer the Father with our talents, we have it all wrong. We're misunderstanding the real gospel is about the love of a Father that would never give up on somebody like us. That He was willing to take a chance for you and me, despite we rejecting our calling, rejecting His hand, His embrace. He was willing to take a risk for you and for me. We are truly worthy of His love. We are truly well thought of. We are truly divinely set in this world to be able to see a Father like that. Bring back the sense of His love into your pain, into your situation, and see it not transform you every single day. Even in the times that the things are going great for you. The power of His love is so incredible. You see, it's not the power of your love for Him. It's the power of His love for you. And when you receive that, it transforms your life from the inside out. It starts transforming all of that pain into joy because you realize you are His joy. And when you focus and when you're hearing teaching about power and love, you begin to think that it's your love that creates that dynamite power to transform you, and it's not. It's the power of his love towards you. It is not the power of your love towards him. You see, friend, that night on January 18th, 2023, his love for me supernaturally removed the rejection and the pain that I was going through. I could not have done it without me bringing back a sense of his love. The message that I was hearing was about, it wasn't even about his love, but it was a message of what he had done for us. And when I saw what had been done for us, it became aware to my conscience, you are loved. And when I spoke that and I started to dwell on it, I brought an atmosphere of his love in this room, in this apartment, and it began to minister to me so much that I didn't feel the pain anymore. I didn't feel the rejection of Blake anymore. I didn't feel the anger that he took somebody else's opinions and he did this and he betrayed me on this and he let go of our marriage and he did. I stopped putting I stopped thinking about what he did to me, and I started to receive what my father had done and is doing for me. I didn't try to make myself feel guilty because I was feeling angry towards Blake, or make myself feel guilty because all these bad thoughts were coming in and I was entertaining them. I simply received my father's love for me in the midst of all of it. I stopped putting myself as the guilty party and I started seeing myself as the daughter without fault. And it made me feel so beautiful, so accepted, so forgiven, that every single day I focused on that one thing. Show me how much you love me today, Daddy, because the pain is there again today. And every time that I would receive it, it would just leave. As I'm describing my father right now, I kid you not, I feel so alive. I feel so beautiful. I love makeup, but I can't put makeup in the inside of me. It's only on the outside. So if anything, the makeup brings out the love that I feel inside from my father to myself. And I feel so beautiful that I put on that makeup. You know, I love it. I love it, you know? And so I guess you could say if I put on more, if you see me with makeup, it's like, wow, she must be feeling really loved today. So anyways, um, so yeah, I truly believe that it's not about our love for the Father. It's about his love for us and us receiving it every single day, because every single day we're going to fall short in our mind or in our actions. And it's going to make you feel so loved that you're not even going to care about what people say about you. And I think that that's where the Father is bringing us more in awareness, is that who cares what they say? You will stand before me and I'm going to embrace you because you're my son, because I see you without fault, daughter or son. Whoever this person is, whoever you are not going to stand before a Father who's going to judge you. Judgment is behind you. He already put the Father put all the judgment on his Son. So now he looks at you with love and compassion, and he bestows on you, he gives to you his grace. And his grace is unearned favor. He gives to you favor that you can't earn. So if you can't earn it, then start being real. You don't have to deny what you're going through. You don't have to deny that you're feeling shameful that day or angry, but let that love of his drown all of your fears and the what ifs. Because I'm going to tell you a fear that I have. Because of what my father did to my mom, I have felt for so long that Blake was going to cheat on me. And it created a lot of jealousy in my marriage where I didn't allow Blake to have so many friends because I was always afraid that he was going to hook up with somebody else. I mean, can we just get real? Right? I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but jealousy is a real thing, and there's a possibility it gets tied up to your past. And because I didn't understand how my relationship with the Father could help in that, it was just piling up, and I was entertaining those thoughts. And so anyways, now, Blake he's single, and he's going about, he's doing single things, and here I am in my apartment loving this man, and praying that one day he sees that I was just a little girl trying to get free, trying to be loved. And I know that my Father is the only one that can open his eyes to that. So being in the place of being misunderstood so deeply and not being able to do anything about it, but to trust in my Father to make Blake see that I was always for him. That's been the hardest. But every day I have to trust. I surround myself. I bring the sense of his love. And today, or last night, I think I forgot how when you're caught up in pain, sometimes the remedy doesn't come so naturally. You know what I mean? You're all these emotions, like if somebody is being attacked so much in their thoughts, it's hard to think correctly. And I went to bed just crying because I have the enemy telling me he's going to look for somebody else, and this promise of restoration is never going to happen. And I always think the worst. It seems like it comes so naturally, but the Father is changing that default setting in me of learning how to trust a Father who loves me. And I remember last night, I'm like, Father, the thing that came to my mind was, tell me everything's going to be okay. Tell me that none of my fears are going to happen. Reassure my heart that you love me and Blake. Reassure my heart that your promises are true for my marriage. Tell me that we're going to be a family again. And I just remember going to bed, and I had to, I got up this morning, and it was another day of you and your thoughts. When you're in a, when you're in your prison, see, real prison, me and my friend were talking about that, but real prison is in your mind. When you don't see hope at the end of the tunnel, that's prison in your mind. You're just going through life. You're not even living. And it's like that's prison. So I love how the hope that we see in the Bible is Bible hope, and it's not the hope of the world that says, I hope it works out. It's a hope that's guaranteed, because the Bible says that the love of the Father has been sprung up in our hearts, and hope will never disappoint because of that. So when you bring in the sense of the Father's love to you, you bring in, without even realizing, hope starts springing up within you to believe in the promises that the Father has for you. He's promised me not just my marriage being restored, but the quality, everything that the enemy stole from me. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, all of that, times of snuggling with him, all of that would be restored to me, because he loves me and he loves Blake. And he loves my children. He loves our family. And I truly believe, out of the bottom of my heart, that if somebody could grab a hold of this, they could believe for their marriage too. That they could believe again, because they know they're feeling the Father's love, and through this message, and they can believe that if my Father loves me, if he could send his Son to me when I couldn't earn it, then there's nothing impossible for my marriage, even though we're going through a divorce, or we've gone through a divorce, or we're headed to that direction. I believe my testimony is going to reach numerous of people, thousands and trillions of people. And when they see Blake and I stand side by side, they'll see two people that fell love. They'll see two people in love, because the love of the Father was wrapping around them, around their situation, and brought them back together again. Hope, living hope, is going to rise. It's rising in you now. And whatever you're facing, maybe it's not a marriage restoration, maybe it's a child that has gone astray. Maybe it's you're caught up in so many finances right now that you're drowning in debt. Maybe you're drowning in pornography because you can't stop, and you know what it's doing to you and to your family, or doing to you in your career. Maybe it's you who had an abortion, and you feel so bad because you took a life away. May I encourage you, friends, that the answer is not by you feeling guilty. The way out is not to make yourself feel guilty. The Father is not angry with you. He's not angry with you. I know it sucks. I know the pain is there. I know the facts are there. But he's saying to you right now, he is not making you feel guilty for being there. He knew everything that you were going to go through. He knew all the decisions that you were going to make, and he still decided to die for you. He still wanted to express his love to you. All of your decisions, all of your actions, all of your thought life has already been accounted for and judged on him. So can I say to you, as I'm saying to myself, let's not judge ourselves anymore. Let's bring the forgiveness for ourselves because we've been forgiven. If you can't forgive somebody, may I encourage you to receive the Father's. Don't worry about forgiving that person for what they did. Focus in that the Father, you are in an atmosphere of his forgiveness for you. You are in a waterfall of his love for you. And whether you change anything about yourself, the Father is never going to leave you. You see, my friend didn't try to get rid of that anger or that unforgiveness that she was feeling towards people. She simply received the Father's love and acceptance for her where she was at. And the next day, things started happening. You see, the church has it all wrong. We think by making ourselves feel bad because anger is coming up again, or we're putting things in front of the Father, like we're not sacrificing this or sacrificing that. That just puts us more in anger because we can't be us. We can't be us. I heard a pastor tell the youth, if you're putting TV in front of God, that's not a good thing. If you are putting your friends in front of God, that's not good. If you're doing, and he even mentioned the word sacrifice. You have to sacrifice some time every single day because that's what God wants. And I thought, oh my God, that makes me so angry. Because my Jesus said, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. And it's almost like that pastor forgot that. Because I wonder if that pastor is not bringing the awareness that when the Father says, I love you, he really means I love you whether you sacrifice anything to me. He doesn't need your sacrifice, friends. He doesn't. You're not a robot. You're a human being who have real issues. I'm sorry. But if we would allow ourselves to be us, we would see that we don't have it all together, whether in thought and whether in action. He never asked us to be robots. He never asked us to deny what we're going through. We automatically think, okay, I shouldn't be experiencing this. And then we put ourselves in serving at church because we're trying to cover up what we're really feeling because somebody told us that we shouldn't be experiencing that. We should be able to forgive that person, that bitterness is bad. And yes, bitterness is bad, but you're making the more that you feel guilty for even having that bitterness, the more you start seeing yourself as a slave and not as a daughter or as a son. You're not allowing yourself to be you. Guilt, you feeling guilty is not the answer. Feeling loved and accepted and forgiven on a constant basis, moment by moment, second by second, That is what breaks the camel's back of that mountain in your life. It is not by you feeling guilty. Not once in my message, in my journal entry, did I try to make myself feel guilty for even having that. I just brought the sense of my daddy's love for myself, and that pain and rejection just, I don't even know when it left. And this morning I did it again. It was like I was sitting on that patio and I was hearing a message of his love. And it was like my father saying, daughter, I love you. I love you. I know what you're going through. And every detail, all of your fears are before me. And I'm going to protect the promise that I gave you. I'm going to protect Blake. And I'm going to protect you. And I'm going to bring you such a marriage. I'm going to bring this promise into your life, not because you could, because you're trying to sacrifice, but because you allowed yourself to be loved where you're at. I'm going to bring this promise because you're making yourself aware that I'm not asking you to change. I'm simply asking you to be you. And when you realize that I'm not trying to change you, now you're bringing the atmosphere of my love. I felt so loved this morning that the pain and the rejection, I started to hope again, started to feel loved, and that hope literally rose. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want you to get the picture here, friends, that love, hope, living hope, Bible hope will not disappoint when you bring the sense of your Father's love in the situation. I'm going to read to you a passage. It's I want to take you to Psalm. I didn't know how it was all going to tie in, but I'm just flowing with it. Psalm 13, verse 1 through 5. Okay. And I'm going to read the Message as well. So I got two translations here. The NASB 1995, and I have the Message one. So it's in Psalm 13, verse 1. It says, how long? This is David. Okay. This is David. Freaking love David. David means beloved. And beloved means the one he loves. I love it how Paul addresses us as the beloved. It's like Paul is bringing the sense that you are the one that the Father loves. It's like he's bringing that atmosphere, and that's what I want to bring to you, child of God. Whoever's hearing this, I want to bring a sense of a God, a Father, a shepherd who's in love with you. So he says, how long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart all day? How long will my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Enlighten my eyes, or I will sleep the sleep of death. My eyes will say, I have overcome him, and my adversaries will rejoice when I am shaken. But I have trusted in your loving kindness. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. Now remember, friends, salvation means deliverance, wholeness. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. Now I want to read it to you in the Message Bible. Okay. Long enough, God, you've ignored me long enough. I'm sorry, I want to stop here real quick. Notice how he's in an emotion. Notice how he's not denying his emotions, what he's going through. He's speaking them out. I sometimes get the impression that we're giving the impression to people that it's not good to speak out what we're feeling. But that's not how the Father or what the Father is saying here. Look how, see, the Bible, every book in the Bible is God ordained. They're in order in the way they should be. Did you know that there's more psalms than we know of, but these psalms are actually put in here? I mean, there's more teaching, more miracles, but only certain books were found. Only certain things were put in. There's a reason for it. So with that said, there's a reason why Psalm 13 is expressing a person who's expressing himself in what he's feeling, is my point. This is not a person denying what he's feeling and expressing himself, you know? So he's saying, long enough, God. You've ignored me long enough. I've looked at the back of your head long enough, long enough. I've carried this ton of trouble, lived with a stomach full of pain. Long enough, my arrogant enemies have looked down their noses at me. Take a good look at me, God, my God. I want you to look life in the eye so no enemy can get the best of me or laugh when I fall on my face. I've thrown, now verse 5, it says, I've thrown myself headlong into your arms. Look how he's depending on the Father's love for him to get him out. It's like he's expressing himself. This is what I'm going through, but my eyes are on your love for me. He says, I'm celebrating your rescue. I'm singing at the top of my lungs. I'm so full of answered prayers. You see, the word loving kindness in some translations is grace. It's actually the word grace. But grace is so pregnant that it has so many beautiful, it's like unearned favor, but favor of his love, favor of his compassion, favor of his provision, all of that. And it's like the translators made the word loving kindness because it was so pregnated. And when I think of the word loving kindness, it's like I'm not just giving you love, but I'm kind in giving you love. It's like somebody can give you something and feel bitter about it. It's like a child receiving their favorite toy, but the parent is like, here, just have it already. See, it's the style, it's the manner of what is given to you. So for David to say your loving kindness, he's saying you're giving me kindness, and the style, the manner that you're giving it to me is in a loving way, loving kindness. Do you see what I'm saying? He's giving to me loving kindness despite what I'm going through. He's bringing, and I'm just drawing it out into my realm, into the physical realm. You love me. That's exactly what David was doing. I'm going through all this. Where are you at, God? Have you forgotten me? Do you not see what's going on in my life? Mind you, he's speaking it out because that's what his thoughts, he's thinking that and he's speaking it now. But then it's like he also remembers about his love and that his love is going to rescue him. And He went from where are you at to I will sing to the Lord. Now, friends, I'm going to make you aware that the word Lord means you are my righteousness. In other words, I'm in right standing with the Father because of what Jesus did. That's what Lord means. Lord means also covenant keeping. He keeps his covenant with you even when you don't keep your side of the bargain of what you think you need to do. Okay? He's in covenant with us even if we fail him. Okay? When you are without faith, when you are faithless, he is faithful. And it's like David brought that atmosphere back to himself when he spoke that out. It's like he brought that thought, you love me. And what I'm going through, you're not going to let it overtake me. You're not going to let me drown in debt. You're not going to let me drown in this pain that I'm feeling. If anything, you're running to me. You want to rescue me. And he's bringing that sense of his love, and it's making him the byproduct of bringing the sense of the Father's love to him, came singing. And it's almost like the church has it the other way around. It's like we're demanding us to sing to God, to our Father, without understanding that he loves us, whether we sing to him or not. We have it all wrong. No wonder we're feeling, and when we do that, we start to bring a sense of roboticness, if that's a word. We start to feel like we're not even human, that we're supposed to be doing this. Get the strings off. Get all this. Why can't we just realize that his love is unconditional and it has nothing to do with you, with what you're doing? His love is there. It's very present. No wonder David says, you are my very present help. It's not because David had something to offer God. If anything, the only thing he had to offer God was his pain. His misunderstanding, his perspective was wrong, but he brought it to the Father, and the Father was, let me bring you my love, and it will put you back into perspective. It will line up. There's nothing in David where David is saying, my obedience is going to bring me this joy. It's going to rescue me. Gosh, I can't stand when I hear teaching about we need to obey God. We need to obey God. Gosh, and just you bring a law out of that. And that's not relationship. That's a fictitious fake person that you're creating. And that's not relationship. Grace is about a love that we can never earn. It's the person. No wonder Jesus says, this is love. No wonder John, mind you, John means grace. No wonder John says, and this is love, not that you loved God, but that he loved you. He's saying this is what true love looks like. This is agape love. It's not you giving your reverence to him. It's about that he loves you. He respects you to love you, to be you. He's exalting you not because of what you have done, but exalting you because you are in his son, that now he can love you and bless you because of what his son did correctly. His son obeyed correctly. His son had the right thoughts all the time. He never doubted his Father. So now he can accept you in all of the times that you do doubt the Father. Was David in the greatest faith in the very beginning? No. But look how he came into faith. He came into faith. The Bible says, faith worketh through love. When you bring the sense of the Father's love towards you, faith is effortless. Like, stop trying to demand faith in yourself without bringing the sense of the Father's love into you, that he loves you even when you're faithless. And when you receive that unconditional love, You start to, it becomes so effortlessly, it becomes so effortless that promise is going to come to pass, because that's what happened to David. He began to sing. That's what happened to me this morning. And that's what happened to me on January 18th. We can't fight the battles of our lives by our love for the Father. Let's get real. You can't battle that disease, that sickness, by your love and your reverence to the Father. But you can defeat that Goliath in your life, whatever that is: pornography, masturbation, sickness, disease, pain, heartache, jealousy, anger, all of that is your Goliath. You can defeat that by embracing your Father's love towards you every single moment. David didn't come to Goliath by these weapons, these shields and these swords. People laughed at him because he came to him with 5 little small smooth stones. Notice how it was the number 5. Every time that you hear the number 5, it means grace. 5 is the number of grace. He brought grace into the situation, unearned favor, and favor was on his side now. It was David whose name is beloved. He knew that he knew that he was loved. It's like love came onto the battlefield. It's not you and Goliath. It's I'm the one who's loved. It's love facing your Goliath. It's love facing that trial. It's your Father. It's like, picture him putting himself in front of you. It's like, here's you and here's your Father. And it's saying, daughter, you don't have to fight here. Son, you don't have to fight here. Bring in the sense of my love. Tap into my love for you. And I'm going to come in front of you. And now it's me fighting that for you. It's grace fighting. And grace is your Father. Grace is Jesus. He's fighting that for you. And we all know the end of the story of David and Goliath. He hit him right in the mark of his forehead. What that means is that when you bring the sense of the Father's love towards you, when you bring in that sense of his love into the situation, and you stop trying to take away what you're feeling at the moment, and you bring in the sense of his love, you hit the mark that will destroy that fear in your life of the what if scenario, of that Goliath in your life of, am I going to die? Is this going to happen in my life? Am I going to lose my children? Am I going to lose everything because I'm a mess? It hits the mark every day, and every day we have to choose to bring that sense of the Father's love. It's not every day I have to choose not to be angry. Every day I have to choose not to be jealous. No, it's not that. It's not that. I promise you, friends, it's not that. You saw it in Scripture, and you saw it through a testimony of mine on January 18th, and you saw it through another testimony. Actually, 2 more testimonies. The person downstairs, my friend, and through my own testimony this morning. I hit the mark. That rejection, that pain went away. That fear of the what if my husband falls in love with another woman, left me because I brought in the sense of my Father's love to me. I hit the mark. If anything, my Father hit the mark. But David wanted to do something even more. He didn't just knock him out and killed him. He wanted to make sure that sucker was dead. So what did David do? David got on top of Goliath, and the Bible says that he cut off David's head with with Goliath's own sword. The sword that was going to kill David had killed him. David used to kill him. What does that mean? That means the Goliath, the tormenting, the enemy who has been tormenting you day and night, of the what if scenario, of your bills not being paid, now is going to become your testimony. Now it's going to become your sword, and you're going to go after the enemy like how I'm doing right now. And I'm cutting off the head of religion. I'm cutting off the enemy's tactics of messing with my mind, because it's healing you, viewer, you, child of God. It's healing you right now. It's bringing you hope. It's bringing a sense of the Father's love in you. So no longer those lies are going through your mind, and right now I'm cutting them off into you, because you're feeling the Father's love right now. What the enemy used to destroy you, the Father is going to turn it on him. And one day, you're going to see me and Blake, and we're going to be on this video, so in love, and we're going to be preaching together. Mark my words. Not because Stacy could do it, but because my Father loves me. And it's him facing my Goliath. And my mess will now be my message. Like it is my message now. I am so pumped by what he's going to do through these messages of vulnerability. It is hard telling people my life. I bought that camera to start vlogging, to bring you along with my life and tell you the good, the good things that are happening, the testimonies, and to bring you also those messages of vulnerability as well. I can't wait to bring you to, on vacations where I go, and I can't wait to bring you along. I'm so excited about my camera. I can't wait to have it to vlog all this stuff. Can I give you another verse real quick before I leave? I want to talk about Psalm 46. Okay. I'm hesitating because I want to make sure that I brought that across with David and Goliath. That not only did he hit the mark, but he also cut off his head to ever deal with him again. Like, if the Father is saying, I'm not just going to get rid of your enemy. I'm not just going to kill them. I'm going to get rid of them forever in your life. If you were dealing with anger, an anger problem, I'm going to make you a pastor. And you're going to love people because you are receiving the love for yourself that I'm giving to you. I'm not saying just a pastor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to make you a testimony so huge that trillions are going to be delivered from the inside out because they were willing to be loved where they were at. Man, friends, I'm excited for you. What the Father's going to do through you. If you receive this message, please share this message. Please subscribe to this channel. Because if you continue to receive this message, my gosh, you're going to take off and run, because David ran towards his enemy. That's the Father. that's, you're going to run with the message of his love and his grace. And you're no longer going to sugarcoat the gospel and bring a mixture of what you have to do in order to receive the blessings. You have to fast 40 days in order to receive a breakthrough. No, we're done with that. God, nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in the New Testament did it ever mention anything about fasting those many days. That's old covenant ways. No longer are we going to bring mixture, but we are going to bring the pure, what's the word? But like unfiltered good news. And we're going to bring a new generation, a new breed, new youth. The youth are going to run with this. The adults that are tired of the rules, tired of the mind games, they're going to run with this message, and they're going to ministries. I can see ministries being opened, doctors ministering to people and letting them know you're not going to die today. You know why? Because the Father is on your side. And if the Father is on your side, if God is for you, then who can be against you? I see doctors being raised up from my ministry. I see psychiatrists, I see therapists that are going to, instead of telling them, here's a pill and call me in the morning. No, they're going to tell, hey, here's let me give you some verses of his love. And I want you to go home and I want you to dwell on these verses of his love. And I want you to bring in the sense of his love, because, that was me too. And their testimony is going to reach their clients, and their clients are going to have testimonies of their own. I see military people that are going to have Psalm 91 tucked away in their uniform, because they're going to face that battlefield. They're going to face those enemies knowing that they're protected and loved, that the love of the Father is protecting them. I see ministries coming out from a simple message like this, of one person who was willing to put herself out there, whether she got criticized or not, because she wanted to give a message to you, beautiful person, that the Father is going to use you mightily. He's going to use you mightily, not because you could, not because you're a great, your actions are all together, but because you're simply loved and accepted where you're at, and because you received a message like this that can transform you. Turn the weapon that the enemy used against you. Turn it around and use it against him. Bring the gospel of his good news, of his love and acceptance and his forgiveness, and preach only that. Bring that message of only that, and not the mixture. That's the generation that I'm raising up, a new breed, a new era is in town, and we're coming after religion. We're going to cut its head off, and our testimony is going to reach nations. I'm so excited what Father's going to do through your life. So excited what he's going to do through my friend's company, Love So Divine. Go check her out. It's amazing. They're statements to you. So amazing. Okay, I'm going to read Psalm 46. And then, yeah. God, the refuge of his people, it's called. For the choir director, a psalm of the sons of Korah. It says, God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. I love that. You see that? They're bringing the sense of the Father's love again. Therefore, we will not fear. Do you see that, friends? They're bringing the sense of the Father's love again. See? God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Though the earth should change, and though the mountains slip into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains quake at its swelling pride. Selah. Selah means they paused for a moment. They think of all they said. It says, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy dwelling places of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She will not be moved. In other translations, it says, she will not fall. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations made an uproar. The kingdoms tottered. He raised his voice. The earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. I love that because Jacob, okay, he didn't mention that the name Jacob is so beautiful. The fact that this person used Jacob instead of Israel. Remember, Jacob was the one who lied to his father in order to get the firstborn blessings. His name changed to Israel later. But Jacob was the one who lied. So I love the fact that he says he's the God of Jacob. The one. So it's bringing a sense of he's the God of the one who did it incorrectly. Okay? This wasn't the God of Israel. It's the God of Jacob. That brings such hope to us, to all the people that don't have it all together. And if we're all honest, none of us have it all together. But the only difference between us and them is that we're no longer in denial of it. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord. Saying, come, look at the works of the Lord, who has wrought desolations in the earth. He makes wars to cease to the end of the earth. Look how he's doing it. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariots with fire. Cease striving and know that I'm God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Look how he says it again. The God of Jacob, the God of the one who didn't have it all together, is with us. You see, in that verse, I didn't know when I was ever going to speak this. But you know that, have you ever heard the saying, be still and know that I'm God? You first have to know that he's the God of Jacob, the God of the one who didn't have it all together, before you could be still. You see? If we're demanding people be still and know that I'm God, but we're not going in detail of solely describing one message, that he's the God of Jacob. He's the God of the one who didn't have it all together. The one who was weak. The one who didn't trust that the Father was going to exalt him. The one who doubted. The one who lied, who misled an old man who happened to be his father to get what he wanted. He's the God of Jacob. If we're not describing that he's the God of Jacob to us and we're not receiving, we won't be able to be still. Our heart won't be able to be still. We'll be caught up in worries. So it's my privilege and honor to give to myself and to my viewers and to whoever I minister to that He's the God of Jacob. He's the God of Jacob. And my heart is just still. It stops worrying effortlessly because I remind myself He's the God of Jacob. He's the God of Stacy. He's the Father of Stacy. He's the Father of you, child of God. Wars cease. Think of the wars is in your mind. You're struggling, confusion, doubt. All of this is happening in your mind. And the only way to shut it off is to bring in. He's the Father of Jacob. David knew, I heard a pastor say, David knew how to get a hold, ahead in life. Mind you, he took off his head. Dun, right? Okay. Because he cut off his head. He knew how to get ahead in life because he knew that he was God's beloved. Jesus went into the wilderness knowing that he was the one who he was pleased with, the Father who was pleased with him. Look at the order of events. The baptism of Jesus happened first. When he was baptized, he came up and the heavens opened and said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased." After that is whenever he goes into the wilderness to be tempted by Satan. Jesus went in with a sense of the Father's love and acceptance into that wilderness. If we go into the wilderness without sensing the Father's love, we are going to drown in our thoughts when the Father has called us victorious. Jesus won over Satan, not just by speaking the word, but because he was coming in knowing he was loved and very well pleasing. And mind you, he hadn't even done one miracle yet. So what does that tell you? You are not your talent. The Father doesn't love you because of your gifts. He loved you before you had anything, before he even gave you anything. He wanted to create you because he loved you. When you think that because you're praying long hours and you're fasting so many days that the Father is pleased with you, that is so not true. You will put yourself in the position of feeling a robot, because what happens when you can't sing anymore? When you don't have your hands to pray for the sick. See, your identity is not in your talent, in your gifts. Your identity is in Christ, and Christ is the beloved. Christ is the position of being loved. You are in the position of you are well pleasing to the Father right now. You are not your gift and you are not your talent. If that means the same thing, that it is. He loves you right now. Jesus didn't perform one miracle. He went in knowing he was well pleasing to the Father and well loved, and he defeated the enemy. The way to defeat your Goliath is knowing you are loved. Bring the sense of his love. See your Father coming in front of you, saying, "Daughter, you don't have to fight in this one. You don't have to fight at all. Stop trying to change yourself and let my love fight it for you. Receive my love every day. Concentrate. focusing on that love. Speak it out. He's not asking you to deny what you're feeling. He's not asking you to deny what you're feeling. Okay? I'm not saying hold back your emotions. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying bring back the sense of his love, that he's the God of Jacob. I love you, friends. Thank you so much for being with me. I don't care that it went an hour and 50 minutes. You know what? I said what I needed to say. I freaking got ministered to. I feel like I can go skip like a little girl and go buy me some ice cream because my Father's fighting for me. He's fighting for all of my promises to come to pass. And I am going to rest in that love. Whether I get ridiculed or not, I'm going to rest in that love. Oh, he loves you so much, friends. Okay, until the next time, don't forget to subscribe. If this is the first time that you have, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell button, hit the like button, share this message with everyone. Share it, because somebody needs to know right now that they are not their gift, they're not their talent, that life may suck in your life right now, but bring that sense of the Father's love and see the power of his love, the love of his power. I love it. I love it. So anyways, thank you so much. I think that's about it. Okay. Until the next time. Yeah, we'll see ya. Bye.